In a world dominated by perception, influence, and subtle power games, it's not always the smartest or the strongest who rise to the top. It's the most strategic. Welcome to Stoic Mind and Body, where we don't chase power. We cultivate it through mastery of mind, discipline, and deep understanding of human behavior. Today, we're diving into 5 Machiavellian rules, not for manipulation, but for developing unshakable inner dominance and the ability to outmaneuver anyone in life, business, or relationships. These aren't fantasies. These are real strategies rooted in timeless psychology and power dynamics. Let's begin. 1. Conceal your intentions, because power begins in silence. Machiavelli's original words ring through time. Never reveal the entire plan. Let your enemy think you're doing one thing while you're preparing another. In the modern world, we're told to be open, to share our goals, to announce our moves. But here's the truth. Transparency is a myth created by the weak to feel safe. The world doesn't reward honesty, it rewards results. And the Machiavellian mind understands this. The moment people understand your motives, they begin to resist them. Think about it. You walk into a negotiation and tell them exactly what you want. Now, they have power over you. You post every detail of your life online. Now you're predictable. Easy to manipulate. You tell your rival your ambition. He blocks your path. The Machiavellian man moves without alerting the guards. He lets others believe they know what he's doing, while quietly building in another direction. This is not cowardice. It is calculated strategy. When others move loudly, he watches. When they reveal themselves, he remembers. And when the moment comes, he strikes where they never expected. Application. In business, reveal less. In relationships, share selectively. In life, let your silence create curiosity, and your results speak volumes. People are not threatened by what they cannot understand. Confuse them, surprise them, and always hold your aces until the end. 2. Always appear less capable. Strategic weakness is a weapon. Sun Tzu once said, "Appear weak when you are strong." Machiavelli built upon this, advising rulers to never let others see the full extent of their power. Why? Because when people think you're average, they relax. They stop competing. They underestimate you. And that is when they expose themselves. The modern ego wants to show off, post the wins, flaunt the wealth, display the strength. But power doesn't scream. It whispers. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon, he didn't announce war. When Steve Jobs revolutionized tech, he let others mock his ideas until they begged to invest. The Machiavellian mind hides in plain sight. He is the chess player, not the chess piece. When you appear harmless, your enemies reveal their vulnerabilities. When you appear weak, people try to dominate you, and in doing so, expose their hand. Then, at the right moment, you reveal your true strength. And the shock is not just physical, it's psychological. They never saw it coming, and that is the ultimate checkmate. Modern example, the quiet employee who never brags, but ends up owning the company. The man in the room who speaks last, but owns the most power. That's the Machiavellian archetype. Don't seek attention, seek control. And remember, it's better to be underestimated than targeted. 3. Master emotional detachment. He who feels less wins more. Machiavellianism is often misunderstood as heartlessness. But it's not about having no emotion. It's about not being ruled by it. In a world of impulsive reactions, outrage culture, and instant gratification, the man who remains emotionally unbothered becomes a fortress. Here's the truth. When someone insults you and you react, you've just handed them control. When someone ghosts you and you chase, you've submitted. When someone provokes you and you lose your temper, you've already lost the game. The Machiavellian mind is calculated stillness. Like a Stoic philosopher, he observes emotions like clouds. They pass, but they do not control the sky. This isn't apathy, it's power. Emotional control equals behavioral control. It allows you to think clearly in chaos, to make moves when others are panicking, to stay grounded when others are burning down bridges over feelings. Application. In conflict, pause before reacting. In relationships, don't be emotionally dependent. In business, don't chase validation. Instead, be a mirror. Reflect what's useful, discard what's noise. The strongest man in a room is the one whose emotions are invisible, but whose results are undeniable. 4. Control the narrative. Perception is power. Niccolo Machiavelli understood something most men never will. It doesn't matter what the truth is. What matters is what people believe. He who shapes the narrative wins the world. This is not manipulation. This is strategic framing, and it determines reputation, influence, and impact. Think of every leader in history. They were either revered or feared, not based solely on actions, but on how those actions were perceived. Caesar framed conquest as liberation. Churchill framed war as duty. Modern influencers frame attention as value. Control the story, and you control the emotion. Control the emotion, and you control behavior. Want to be seen as powerful? Don't tell people you are. Show them through stories. Want to be forgiven for a harsh move? Frame it as protecting your values. Want to lead? Make people feel that your rise is in their best interest. Example, a Machiavellian doesn't say, "I'm aggressive." He says, "I'm driven by purpose." He doesn't say, "I control people." He says, "I inspire outcomes." Same behavior, different framing, and the public buys the frame every time. Application. Learn to speak in parables, in metaphors, in emotional truth. Because facts don't win hearts, stories do. And the man who owns the story owns the crowd. 5. Ruthlessly prioritize your time. Distraction is the death of power. Here's a brutal truth. The man who cannot control his time cannot control his destiny. Every time you pick up your phone, every time you argue with someone irrelevant, every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't matter, you're trading your kingdom for crumbs. Machiavellian strategy demands ruthlessness with your attention because your energy is your capital. Your time is your army. And distractions are the silent assassins of empires. Every yes is 1,000 no's. So say yes to nothing that doesn't serve the mission. Ask yourself, does this serve my long-term vision? Does this conversation make me stronger? Does this person elevate my power or drain it? If the answer is no, cut it off. You do not need closure. You do not need to be polite to people who slow you down. You do not owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. Because you're building something greater than social comfort. You are building sovereignty. Time is the only asset you never get back. Guard it. Leverage it. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Here's a hard pill. Most people are chained by their need to look good. They are paralyzed by guilt, by fear of judgment, by the illusion that playing nice wins power. But the world doesn't reward the nice. It rewards the effective. Machiavelli taught, use morality when it serves you, but never let it blind you. You don't have to be unethical, but you also don't have to be a martyr. People who rise to power understand balance. They appear kind, but act strategically. They speak of loyalty, but watch for betrayal. They help others, but never at the cost of their own throne. You must learn to operate above guilt, above fear, above the emotional manipulation that society imposes on high performers. You are not here to please. You are here to build. And sometimes, building requires you to say no, walk away, and act in cold alignment with your goal. Be moral, but never be a slave to it. Let's end with the deepest truth. True dominance isn't loud. It doesn't seek attention. It moves through rooms without needing to speak. It commands loyalty without begging for it. It knows when to strike and when to disappear. The most powerful men in the world do not announce their strength. They don't chase arguments, applause, or approval. They are watching, calculating, choosing, and when they move, it's game over. You want to outsmart anyone? You don't need a crown. You need clarity, discipline, and the willingness to outthink every man in the room. These 5+1 rules are not tactics. They are philosophies of power. Live them, breathe them, practice them every day, and soon you won't have to chase dominance. It will flow from you naturally. If this resonated with you, you're not average. You're meant to lead, not follow. And here on Stoic Mind Body, we create leaders who understand the power of silence, discipline, and strategy. Subscribe for more. And remember, the most powerful man is the one who never has to prove it.